Hello my beauties, welcome back to my channel. I'm back with a really quick skin focused tutorial all on how to get the perfect camera ready skin that still looks fresh and glowy but also flawless all night long and great in every picture or every video. This will be coming out a few days before New Year, so I thought what a perfect time for any of you that are going to be out and about for New Year's Eve or just sitting in your apartment looking glamorous if you want to. This won't be a super long video, I hope. If you want to learn how to get this skin, then please continue watching. Okay, so I am wearing my Lisa Eldridge tint right now. I've had it on beforehand, so I've got nothing else on with that. And we're going to go straight in to creating a really flawless base, and this is also a really good way to show you guys that you can build up on what you've already had on throughout the day. This is just such a good little tip going into New Year's Eve. I thought, why not do a real quick how to get camera ready flawless skin. I'm going to use the Lisa Eldridge Seamless Skin Foundation. I've mentioned it on here a few times in the last few videos. I'm still using a sample pot, and this is the shade N20.5. It is what it says. It's a seamless skin foundation. I mean, look at that. Look at that. I've been wearing this alone, but it also works really well on top of a tint or any other products. Obviously, you don't need to do that. But what I want to create today is a really flawless airbrushed finish, and I'm really loving this foundation for it. I'm going to obviously be purchasing a full bottle when I get a chance. Lisa Eldridge has blown me away. And the only reason I've recently kind of become a lover is because I've not had it in a store near me to test. So I went to London. I've said already, Space NK is where I first tried out some products, and they had the actual stand of Lisa Eldridge so that I could play with the products, and I was just like, wow, love these. So anyone who doesn't know about Lisa Eldridge products, or any makeup artist friends that watch this, highly recommend trying. Look at that gorgeous finish. And without the tint underneath, I'm really bunged up again. It looks slightly more matte, which is so nice as well. But yeah, look at that. This shade's really nice as well. It went pretty well for me. You'll see once I get the concealer on. For concealer, I'm going to use my Huda Beauty Faux Filter Concealer. This is the shade Graham Cracker. I've been loving my Vieve concealer, but I just want to get that real one step up flawless base, and this concealer is phenomenal for that. It does not move. It's really creamy when you apply, but then you can kind of work with it quickly and it sets, so it doesn't stay creamy. And I'm just using it in all the important main areas because I do want a really flawless base. When I'm working on clients, a lot of the time what I'll do is build up really light layers of concealer. So I'll usually do one full layer of foundation and then build up really slowly with the layers of concealer. So we're going to do this, and then once I've done my eye makeup, I'll come back as well and show you how I build up on that. So I really like using small, slightly more dense but fluffy brushes to blend out my concealer. Again, this applies a softer amount, like it gives it more of a soft airbrushed finish. And I, once again, never press too hard with your brush. Always use light touches, keep your brush kind of held further back. This brush is from Sigma, and it's the F03 brush. Bought this a while back and I really love it. So you can see that that shade Graham Cracker is just giving us a little bit more of a lifted, highlighted effect. Bit brighter, and it blends so nicely with the foundation shade as well. Just going to blend all of this in. Sometimes what I like to do is go back in with the foundation brush and just buff that concealer in with it. It's so weird, I've got such a hate for this side of my face in comparison to this side, and I'm sure a lot of you can see it, but it's just such a different like shape. I just feel more lifted on this side, and it's weird because I think this is the side I sleep on. But anyway, let's blend, blend, blend. So we're going pretty much all over what we've done with concealer, but this is where you get the extra staying power and you get this real kind of airbrushed, more camera ready finish. Actually been a while since I used the Huda Beauty concealer on myself. I use it a lot in my kit, but for me this is such a great concealer for pretty much everyone. It gives smooth airbrushed finish. It's not too matte, but it sets down perfectly even without powder, and it feels so nice, and it covers amazingly well as well. So it's pretty much replaced my Tarte Shape tape in my kit. I still have Tarte Shape tape, but it's very rare that I reach for it now. I pretty much always reach for Faux Filter by Huda Beauty, and also the Hourglass concealer in my kit is great. But look at that. Okay, my light completely ran out of battery and now I'm back. I've done my eye makeup. I have used this beautiful Sweed eyeliner. The packaging's a bit ruined. All I know is it's a really ready tone, and I've used that along the lash line just to give you a little bit of a NYE kind of glam. But we're gonna go straight back into the skin before this light runs out of battery again. I'm in a real tight time schedule today. I've got family coming over. So now that I have done my eye makeup, I'm actually gonna go in with another little bit of concealer around my eye area in particular. If this was on clients, I'd probably be layering up even more, but that's just because I become a perfectionist when I'm working on people, and you don't necessarily have to do this on yourself, but I would suggest just a couple of layers of concealer, lightweight layers buffed out into the foundation, and you will find that there's a lot more to break through when wearing your makeup out. So the layers just stay and you look flawless throughout the night or day, whatever event you've got. To contour the face, I am going to use my Tarte Shape Tape concealer. Again, this is not something I reach out for often, but for contouring it is fantastic for photography. So this is a much more matte concealer, which does take a little bit more blending, so I'm putting a little bit more pressure on this. It's actually fine when it's fresh, but this one's quite old, so it's blending out a little bit less seamlessly as it normally would. That shade is the shade Rich Sand. It's more of a kind of golden tone, and then we're going to do a little on the cheeks. This is quite a dark shade as well, so if you are someone that's new to contouring and bronzing, then maybe use a shade that's slightly lighter, but this obviously catches on camera really nicely, and I'm just pressing that in with this brush. This is actually a Caia Cosmetics brush. Contouring, I like to follow along kind of my cheekbone. I don't like to go too low, but I do like to bring it slightly higher. I find that it kind of lifts my face. Again, dependent on different face shapes, I will adapt that on clients and kind of go with what feels right. I'm doing a little on my jawline to chisel that out. And you want to make sure this is really well blended because you do not want any harsh lines. You can already see how seamless that looks on camera. And I am going to also, guys, I keep sneezing. I don't know what it is, whether there's something in this flat that makes me sneeze or whether I'm fighting a cold, because this time of year everybody's ill. But I feel like my mum's been ill, everyone has been unwell, and I'm just here like praying that I just keep fighting. Right, with nose contour, this can be one of the most difficult things that you do on yourself. And to be honest, it's taken me years to contour my nose personally and others in a way that I feel works in a nice, soft, flattering way. Obviously, this looks quite harsh in real life, but on camera, it photographs really well, and I will blend this out shortly. I've already shown you how I do it with the Caia bronzing stick, because I find that that bronzing stick is really, really soft and not harsh. So with my nose, I have a dip that comes in here, and this bit kind of bulges out. They all have things that really get to us, but my camera lighting has gone again. I'm gonna have to do some of this filming without the extra light. Whilst we've got natural light outside, you can see how this is looking with natural light. Like, I'm on such a tight time schedule that I haven't got time to wait for the light to charge, basically. I've done a bit of nose contour. Now that that light's off, you can kind of see how it looks. Going to go in with my cheek routine, which is this Charlotte Tilbury Peachgasm. I like to apply this first, and I like to put a bit on the nose. And I'm also going to blend in my current blusher favourites. This is Caia Cosmetics again, and this one is called Sweet Craving. The one I've been wearing a lot, and I think I used it in my last YouTube, is Soft Burgundy. I'm going to blend them in together with my Zoeva 105 Luxe Highlight Brush. I use this for my blushers and I really love it. And I like to bring this up into my temples and quite high on my cheekbones, because it's got that glow to it. It kind of gives you the highlight as well as the blush. Let's just add a bit more of that colour. Who doesn't love blusher at the moment? Blusher, I find, is so important in a makeup look, in a base. It really does lift and add life to the face. Like, everything can look quite flat without blusher. Just gonna go back in with that concealer brush that I used earlier, just to kind of like soften out those edges. And when we powder after this as well, there'll be a huge difference as well, but we can already see that we've got that nice kind of lifted effect with the cheeks. I'm gonna go in with the powder bronzer to just set all of that contour that we've done. So I'm using a mixture of my By Terry's Tea to Tan bronzer and my Makeup by Margaux Skin Perfecting, I think it's Skin Enhancer. Oh, Soft Sculpt Transforming Skin Perfector. You can tell I love this, but it's just a bit warmer and richer in colour. So haven't been using it as much lately because I probably should be using a shade lighter, but I do love looking really bronzed. So you can see how that's brought everything back in. And we're going to do the same on the cheeks just to enhance. So again, you can go in with just cream or just powder, but the benefits of doing makeup where you're layering powder on top of cream, especially with blusher and bronzer as well, is it really holds even more. So you've got that extra colour, extra layer to have to break through, and that's why it lasts so well, and then also just looks so much more bright and prominent on camera. Really aware that we're filming now without the same light as we had in the first part of the video, but I'm just going to let it charge for a bit longer and then we will come back to extra light. But this is completely natural light coming from one side only. So this is just, it's now 3 p.m. The sun is, there's no sun in England anyway, but the lighting is slowly going to go down, so we will need the extra help. And we're just going to go back into that nose contour with the powder bronzer. This is again the By Terry's Tea to Tan. This is the shade Tan Bronze. I'm gonna set everything with powder now. This is what really gives the ultimate kind of camera ready makeup. And I want to do this before I put any powder blusher on. So I'm using my trusty Easy Bake by Huda Beauty. This is the shade Banana Bread. I'm gonna start with this shade first, and then I am going to layer this. And the reason I've chosen to dip into my Easy Bake Huda Beauty powder in comparison to some of the others I've shown you is because I want this to be real camera ready, real kind of like airbrushed makeup, and I feel like who better than Huda Beauty to give us that. These powders definitely are very matte, very airbrushed, and honestly phenomenal for any kind of big events. If you are someone that gets very oily, these powders are the one for you. And what I really love is that the shade range in these powders is like unbelievable. I don't know any brand, well, there's a lot of brands out there that have done a lot of shades, but there's not many brands that have got the shades as spot on as Huda Beauty has for the powders. So I'm just going up into the forehead. We still have a bit of peeling on my skin from my resurfacing treatment, but it's much better. We're about a week and a half into the healing process, and this is the main area that I've had some peeling. This kind of cut under the cheekbone with powder is one of my important steps. Like this can chisel your whole face, and also when you're at an event, and especially like a wedding or something where you see lots of people and they always kind of like kiss you on the cheeks, this just holds these areas in. This is how this looks in completely natural light. You can see how seamless it's just made the makeup. Powder can really create an illusion, especially when you use it right next to your nose contour, and it can really cinch in that contour that we've done. It creates an illusion under the cheekbones and all of those areas. And what I like to do is just go back in with the bronzer brush to just make sure everything kind of merges in and looks more seamless, because the minute you put powder on, it can then catch on camera as quite bright or ashy. So you need to just make sure everything's seamless and you've blended out any of those harsh areas. Got a little bit of camera light back so you can see this with the powder. I am now gonna add in some powder blusher. This is my really trusty favorite palette from, as you can tell, very well loved, from Charlotte Tilbury. This is the Pillow Talk palette in the shade medium deep palette. Basically, I'm just going to press on top of that blusher that we've done, just so we've got extra staying power, an extra seamless finish, and also a bit more of an intense colour payoff. I really like these kind of rich berry blushes that give a warmth to the skin. And I've applied that literally right kind of on the cheekbone and above. I've mixed all of the shades in that palette to create that perfect blend. One of the final steps into creating this flawless skin is to go back in Easy Bake and Snatch pressed powder. I actually only recently started using this in this way. So this is the shade Cherry Blossom, which is a really bright pale pink. But what I realised was using this alone didn't work for me. When you use this on top of the loose powder, it works so much better. As you can see, it looks so much brighter, more seamless. When you wear this alone, it gives a little bit of a shiny flashback, which doesn't work so well alone. But when you put it with that matte powder and then kind of build on top of that, it works so nicely together. I'm also an absolute lover of the Peach Pie shade, but where we are in the winter and I'm feeling like I just need that pop of brightness to balance me out, Cherry Blossom is working really well. There we have a really flawless powdered base without taking away from a radiance to the skin. I really love having that soft glow, but looking perfect for camera, and not looking like, I just don't love that flat overall powdered look. This is like powdered, but still with a nice kind of healthiness to it. We're going to finish it with some setting spray. I'm going to use my Vieve setting spray because this smells incredible. Oh God, it's like a, honestly, that smell is it's got to be my favorite smell. I've been using it a lot on myself, and I find that it does help kind of merge everything, melt everything together, hydrate the skin, but also set it all in. Once this sets, you have got an all night, long wear, camera ready makeup that will just look perfect for the rest of the night. I'm gonna end this here. Hope you've taken away some tips from this really quick skin focused look. I hope you all have the most phenomenal new year. May this year ahead be filled with endless happiness and contentment. Please, please comment and like. It means a lot. It means so much when you do interact as well. So yeah, thanks so much for your support. Happy 2025, and I will see you all in the new year.